Okay, so thanks for coming, everyone, and for sharing your lunch time with me. I really appreciate that it's taken quite a bit of time out of your lives to find out more about our core skills course. So it's a tested and relaunched course that helps bring kind of highlights the digital skills that are quite foundational for ways of working and being more digital. So just to begin, we're here to help the sector understand how to be more digital. We offer advice and guidance and kind of technical solutions to putting digital ways of working into practice. I believe that we already kind of know that digital is the thing that we're doing. But as we move forward, we kind of need to know how to put it into practice and what we're doing and why. So what do we mean by digital ways of working? There are a myriad of different definitions that are used across the sector. I've just highlighted two that I think are kind of key to this question and the kind of putting it into practice. So when I talk about digital ways of working, I'm describing the methods that we can use when we're applying the culture and practices and processes of digital technologies to respond to people's raised expectations. And that is a kind of adaptation of the Co-op digital definition. And I will share the slides around so you can link to find out more. And further kind of influenced by that is being more digital is about how you do anything, digital or that results in non-digital actions. Being more digital is a set of practices and behaviours that we adopt, and it's a mindset shift in its kind of very basic, which gives us a willingness to learn and helps us develop our own digital practices. And that's the key, is being more digital is different to every individual. The journey tends to start with curiosity, which I believe that all of you are here because you're here. And the aim of the course is about giving you those kind of foundational techniques and methods to allow you to embed those practices and behaviours in a way that works well for you, that is safe for your organisation and doesn't present you with an overwhelming amount of tasks. So I tweeted earlier today because I had to put this in. I was reading The Guilty Feminist over Christmas and came across this quote, which I thought was ridiculously correct for kind of our digital journeys as a sector. And one of the key problems that and barriers to doing more with digital that's shown in reports into digital skills and digital activities in the charity space is confidence. And that confidence sometimes can come from recognizing that if there isn't anything truly at stake, we can make mistakes and maybe fail as a way to gather data or to learn. And I'm not talking about that fail fast approach. I'm talking about having those choice moments and using methods and techniques and processes to make sure that we can make micro mistakes and learn from them, make adjustments. So when we look at the transition of to digital ways of working, we're really thinking about kind of 6 pillars and 6 focuses. The first is about being person-led, and you will probably have heard about user research or being user-led. Here we're just talking about people, and I use the word person-led predominantly because I think in the sector we quite often forget that our volunteers and our staff are also our users too, and that anything we do in a digital way and in our digital practice should positively affect both those that we work to support and that we work to build relationships with through our donors, but also those that are working tirelessly to make sure that our work can be done and can be of impact to not only the direct beneficiaries, but the wider society as a whole. And as part of that as well, we need to kind of start working in iterations. And when we say iterations, we mean essentially baby steps. So when we're looking at a problem, we want to break that problem down and try and explore what we need to know in order to make the next decisions. And there we need to be evidence driven by those decisions. So we can't be led by our gut. If our gut is saying you need to turn left, but the signs are all saying go right, we should follow those signs. And we should have the confidence in the data and in the information we're gathering in order to follow those signs. The final 2 points are points that are quite often forgotten, even in the public sector. If you look at inclusivity and accessibility, a lot of our society doesn't have access to digital devices and tools. Yet you go to your local GP and you're probably being asked to use the NHS app now. So there's those kind of considerations that we need to make sure as charity professionals that are generally working with the most deprived in our society, that if we're doing something in a digital way, it can also be accessed in an analog way, and how those processes meet. And then also it's about managing those risks and planning those projects. And across this 6-week course, we will kind of look at each subject as a whole, but also how they intersect, because you can't manage risks without understanding the decisions that you've made. You can't be inclusive and accessible without being person-led. And there's definitely intersections and complementary activities that happen across the work. So as I said, this course is tested. We ran it for the first time as a response to the pandemic, and since then we've been doing lots of other activities and testing the way that we deliver workshops and the support that we offer as a side of that. But as a thank you from one of the people that attended that course, we got this kind of impact statement, where Anwen highlights that it had a significant impact on her and the overall results of the kind of digital transition that one was in planning at the Carers Network before the pandemic, but was obviously speeded up by that. And she highlights here that the course was predominantly beneficial to her because of the new ways of working and the problem solving that it prompted her to do as part of this ongoing project, for moving things forward. So as part of the course, like I said, you'll be learning why each pillar is important, but most importantly for me and for the rest of us at Be More Digital, it's about that transference of knowledge. So how can you put being person-led front and foremost of most of your work? It doesn't have to be one element of a website project. How can you embed that in the processes and the ways that you work across your team and across everything that you do? And so we spend a lot of time on the course in group coaching and one-to-one coaching to explore how you can pop each of those pillars in, and kind of experiment with them in the work that you do. We want to help you understand what you need to make sure that your digital practice is in place, and to focus on where you need to kind of be for the challenges that you face. So you can come to this course not really knowing much about digital, and then learn how to apply that. Or you could come to this course with a project in mind that we can help bring you through. All the elements that we talk about are things that we believe that everyone in the sector needs. And obviously there are some that, dependent on your role and what you do, you might need to know more of. So the course is set out in 6 1.5 or 90-minute live sessions across 6 weeks. At the moment, the timing of that is to be decided, because I want to be person-led by you. So if we, for example, have a lot of parents that are taking the course, and we'll probably want to move that more to the lunchtime zone, to avoid tea times and things like that. But you know, if we've got a lot of people that aren't parents and would prefer to do something in the evening, then we can set the time for that as well. Along with the kind of 90-minute sessions, there will also be kind of activities for you to kind of get on with in the week ahead. So for example, when we're looking at the person-led, we would set you out with a lot of templates, ask you to, at the time, kind of say, I'm going to use this template to plan some user research into this project, or I'm going to have some conversations with some people about this problem that I think they might have. And then at the start of each session, we'll just have a quick 15-minute session to reflect and see where you are. And we'll also use the group coaching sessions to explore those things as well. And highlighting there that it's Chesham House rules. So, you know, we can talk about themes outside of the group, but we won't be sharing names and things like that, because, you know, embedding digital into your ways of working can be quite a emotional activity. So we want to make sure that the coaching sessions are a safe place to do that. And the final learning offer is a peer learning group that you'll have access to beyond the course. And that will likely be WhatsApp, but it could be Slack, dependent on our wants and our needs. I know last time when we did it, we had a Slack channel and not many people had used Slack at the time. So, you know, I'm quite happy to be led by everyone's needs and wants and what you have access to. So the current aim is to set the launch date for the end of February. So the week of the 27th of February is currently penciled into my diaries, which will mean that the course will run until the first week of April. So if we do have parents in, we've hopefully bookended by avoiding half term in Feb and getting everything done just before the Easter break. So that should fit in quite nicely. And in terms of the costs, we have 3 tiers. £250 is for those of you that are working in micro charities. So that is people who work in charities that have a general income of below 100,000, just to make sure that that's accessible to you. And I did a little bit of maths in my head this morning, and that works out at about £2 an hour for your activity. So you should, that, you know, you're getting quite a lot of bang for your buck with that. The £500 offer is for those that are over the 250, up to the £250,000 a year mark, and the 750 is those that are above that. So yeah, it's all dependent on your budget, and we do try and be as flexible as possible, because we know that times are tight, and we also are aware that some people may be paying for this out of their own personal budget as well. So if that is the case, you know, it's what you can afford, and we won't be saying yes to more people that can afford the 750 versus the 250. You know, we won't be making judgments on entry there. So, do we have some questions? You can just open your mic, because I don't think we've got that many people on the call.
Hi, sorry, I actually had to miss a bit because we've got builders here and they tripped all the power. Um, will this course be something that you run over and over again? The only reason, like, because the timing isn't great for me at the moment. It might be something to look at later on in the year.
Yeah, so I am looking at doing one probably launching June time.
Okay.
Um, but in terms of dates, I'd have to make sure it might be the end
No,
of May because of the summer holiday.
sure. No, that's totally fine. I've just got some medical stuff going on at the moment, so I need to wait until all that's done.
Of
But
course.
thank you.
Anyone else got any other questions?
What's your optimum number of people on the course, Bobby?
Um, so I'm hoping to get 10 people at least on the course. But I have been sitting on this for a long time, kind of having that anxiety of whether to do it, whether it's wanted. So I'm just going to do it. But you know, I mean, when we did the test, it was I think there was 5 people on it, and it worked out quite nicely because they all kind of got to know each other, and I know that they kind of speak to each other now still. So, or some of them do. So, you know, it's so long as there's more than one.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of, I mean,
it
sounds like something I could recommend to people, but they're at the they're not the people with no knowledge at all, but they're people with less confidence in their digital capacity or capabilities. And I kind of have to recommend something that they can't fail at. And you know, I trust you, and I know that you've spent a long time developing this. And I'd hope that this would be a course that they could definitely benefit from. I mean, my boss, for example, talks about all the admin and stuff she has to do, and I'm always thinking digital. You know, there are ways you could approach admin digitally that would save you time and money and effort and free you up to do all the other stuff that you do really want to do. And it's not always really, you know, kind of asking ChatGPT to write your bid for you, but you know, things that are coming along, and being more aware of what's out there. And yeah.
So the 5 people that we had on the course, when we tested it, we did have a range of, you know, going from one person who is a self-confessed technophobe, who was challenged, but it was their mindset that was challenged more than their capabilities. And then we also had someone who was already, you know, managing digital products, you know, managing the content of a website, managing social media streams, and kind of had digital built into their role. But the iteration and the user research were new things to them that they could then build on and develop as they move forward. So this is definitely designed more as the beginner, the entry level offer, to move people on, because once you get the initial foundation, there are so many different routes that you can take, and then it has to become a bit more specialist. Grace, I can see you've got a question.
Thank you. Firstly, apologies. I realised I wasn't on mute, and I've got guinea pigs that have been merrily.
It's fine.
They were squeaking away quite a lot, and I suddenly realised I wasn't muted. I was wondering if would the course be useful if you're considering kind of doing freelance work and developing a sort of facilitator and in your own right, rather than, or would you need to have projects in mind at a charity that you worked at?
No, I think it would be very useful, but I would defer to Sue and Alia, who have been working with me quite a lot. We're all freelancers outside of Be More Digital, and and they would
I
probably
was
be
just
able
going
to.
to say that Bobby's a freelancer and knows exactly what she's doing. Do you know what I mean? And she has a brilliant way of passing that on to the rest of us. And we're all learning loads working with her. Yes, is the answer to the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Because once you have those foundations in your own practices, you can
You can
then
put them.
live them and then put
Yeah.
them into action and help others. So yeah, for sure.
Brilliant, thank you.
Pauline.
Yeah, just is there any do you do any pre-registration testing to kind of see where people are at, that sort of thing?
So we do. I have just started testing a kind of skills bank. So the kind of initial session would follow a kind of a skills sort, just to see where we're at as a group, and to kind of highlight where there may be some additional needs in terms of that coaching. So it might be that, you know, there's themes that come up about using certain software or not doing certain things, and we can adjust and adapt what we're talking about to fit that. But yeah, so in each individual person would get their own skills list to sort and then send back to us.
Okay.
Has anyone else got any more questions? I can't see if there's anyone else on the call.
No, Claire said she had to dash, but thank you very much. So that's good.
Okay. So I guess it's about next steps then. So at the moment, if you are interested, we have a QR code, but also if you're not that way inclined, I have a link that you can use to make a deposit payment, sorry. And I'll just pop that in the chat now for everyone. And they're set at around 10% of the different payment categories that we have, and that's predominantly for those of you that know it's for you and that you're interested in joining. And then after that, I'll send you a kind of form to fill out, which will be, you know, gauging whether we do it on a Monday evening or a Thursday afternoon or whatever works for the majority. And you know, if the group decision doesn't work for you, then we can hold that deposit for the next time we run it, or we can return that deposit for you. She's working on a digital skills matrix for our organisation, so definitely an option on timings on our side. That looks great. Thanks, Anne. If you need any, I'm quite happy to share the digital skills matrix that I use for the skills sort. It's a kind of combination of the one that gov.uk have, and also has been adjusted as part with some research that I did with the Scouts as well. So there's some stuff in there that you probably don't need if you're a tiny organisation, but it does cover everyone. So there might be some bits that concern people or questions that they have based on those skills. But yeah, I'm happy to share that with anyone. Just send me an email to ask.
Sorry, Bobby, that would be fantastic, because I think we've grown hugely over the last couple of years. We're playing catch up with ourselves, and certainly since I started last year, I think trying to move away from the delivery and do a bit of an internal focus now. So that skills piece would be great if you had that to share.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have it as a kind of template on our Padlet, so I can Alia and Sue, can you remind me to send that in the follow-up so everyone's got that?
Yes, please.
And the other link that I'll share in the follow-up email will be a link for you to book up just a quick chat with me about the course, so that if you do have any questions or want to engage in a slightly different way, then we can have that chat as well.
Great.
if no one else has any other questions, I'll close it because I want to make sure that I don't take too much time from your lunch, and make sure that we're all about making sure that you have a good balance.
Is it okay to share the presentation with the people, Bobby?
Yes, and I'll also share the recording as well.
Yeah.
I'll pop the recording up on our YouTube and share the link with
Great.
everyone that signed up to attend that might not be able to attend as well. And yeah, please share that beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get any questions in the meantime that we haven't covered, do just reach out to us. Very happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you very much.